Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of Resident Evil playthrough. Uh, Today with me I have my wife again, Nicole, sugarbeastie.
Hello.
While we're commentating, giving our commentary, we're actually having lunch, so bear with us.
Yum yum yums.
And we're still making it through the playthrough. Today is on Leon and Helena. Getting closer, but not quite done with them yet.
Oops. Pew pew.
And today we'll finish out Leon and Helena, though. Not that it hasn't been fun, but I am, at this point in the game, I was ready to try, try Chris or Piers or anybody else.
Yeah.
But, so anyway, while we're waiting for anything, talk with it. This, I hate these frustrating parts. You help somebody and then it's like almost for no reason. But you have to advance the game, so. Busville of the Dead.
It helps remind me of that part in The Walking Dead, dealing with the school bus. Remember?
Oh yeah, when they were trying to figure out what's going on near the police station. But as I mentioned before, you can't upgrade the weapons, but you do get a bunch of them. So, Helena starts off with that Hydra, which is pretty cool, and then you find a bunch of other weapons along the way.
Always like that shot of turning into epinephrine.
Yeah, being able to help out your partner, that's always good. I mean, it's interesting that they have 2 different ways. Well, I think it's like 3 different ways you can help now. And me and Benji, apostleboy, noticed that if you take the pills close enough to your partner, that they actually help them out a little bit too. The spray does a full restore in your partner, but if you take the pills, the little, I don't know, health Tic Tacs or whatever, they help out too. So that's pretty useful. There's no reason for me to bend down to shoot them, but I'll just, they get on my nerves.
It seems like in this one, maybe it's just me, that the reload seems a little bit faster, just a little bit.
Well, don't let this fool you. This is sped up. Remember, this was one of the mistakes. The reload all depends upon the gun. Now, one thing you can do, as one gun is reloading, switch to another one. So you don't have to. That's a good thing about having multiple weapons. You don't have to wait for it to reload. You can switch to a gun that's already loaded. And then, fail. You can switch back at a later time and reload it when you're not in dire straits, when you're not in trouble.
And The Walking Dead, I believe, is going to be what, Sunday? Not tomorrow. Next Sunday.
12th? Right, the 14th.
14th? Okay,
yeah, because tomorrow's the 7th.
Right.
So they come back on the 14th. And it looks pretty good. Last night we just saw the return of Supernatural.
Yep, yeah.
That was good. It's interesting how they do that whole. This isn't the first time they've done it. That whole year pass thing.
That was good. I'm interested to see. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen the new episode yet, but it's interesting to see who that new person is supposed to be and how they fit in.
Right. Because he seems to have a unhealthy interest in Dean.
Yeah, a little too unhealthy. And then, well, you want to know who the other person is that went down there as well. I won't ruin it for anybody. Castile.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what happened? Yeah, because they're just showing
flashbacks, a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, and it's slow and coming.
Girls might enjoy that Sam does have longer hair. Not quite like Fabio long, but it is longer. Like he's in one of those what is it? Herbal essence commercials or my favorite one of the Supernatural was the episode where everything was fake. It was the what was it? The episode where they weren't even really them. They were just playing them as the characters.
Oh, when they were in
was it alternate or
yeah,
alternate world or something like that?
when they found the Impala was a prop and they were dealing with the real names of their characters and found out that one of the guys who helped create the show named Bobby after himself. It's gonna be weird though, having Bobby gone.
Well, I'm hoping he's not really, really gone, but we'll see.
That's one of the things I was curious about, how they were going to deal with the whole purgatory thing, because they've never really dealt with what happens to a ghost when you finish off its remains, when you burn it or.
Right. Keep in mind, of course, this is all TV.
Right, all fictitious, but all mythology that they're creating. They're taking, Christian teachings and non-Christian teachings, pagan teachings, and all sorts of things, combining them, and then modifying them so they'll fit on TV.
It's an interesting concept if you just keep in mind that it's...
Yeah, just like video games. You have to take it for what it's worth. I don't really imagine that I'm running around with a gun here. I think that I can really defeat zombies or Javos.
Some people will be like, oh, it was the game, and,
Well, I'm not going to turn into a teenage werewolf and destroy my Xbox.
Touche. Right? Yes. The action here.
Again, keep pointing out, keep reminding you, the most important things I found in any of the Resident Evils is to keep searching. Look around all the corners.
I mean, yeah, because you'd be surprised if you go back into the older games and it's like there was something over there or hidden over to the side that really could help you, that extra health pack or whatever it is, that really will come to your aid if you're just one down, especially when you're defeating one of the big bosses. That really can make a difference if you just need one more or had something for your partner. That can definitely make a difference.
Well, that's the nice thing about having the partner, is that they can see things, they might see something you didn't see and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that me and apostleboy try to do, is like whenever I see an emblem or health, I try to make sure he has the time to get there, and he does the same for me.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So that we know where it's at. Well, and actually you don't have to share, which is pretty cool. In this one, it's not like you get it or I get it. It's there for both of us. And each of you have to shoot the emblems. I believe in 5, if you were playing with somebody else and they shot the emblem, it counted for you also.
Mm-hmm.
But not so in this one.
It's interesting. I don't know, just passed the scene a few moments ago, dealing with them on the sofa and then the chairs or whatever. Reminds me of The Thing, when they were just sitting there and all of a sudden they just get up, which was a great movie, even for today, even of its time. The graphics were beyond.
Well, the original,
The
Thing?
original.
Yeah, well, not the original.
The one with Kurt
the
Russell.
remake, yeah, was it John Carpenter's?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really good.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my all-time favorites.
I'm interested to see how they're going to redo. I believe it's Stephen King's It they're going to redo. They did the redo of The Shining, which I really didn't like. I like the original better. It was okay, but I prefer the original. The original to me was more spooky. The remake, I think, was more friendlier. And the new one.
Oh yeah, the Screamer. This is just so long. Sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off, but they just introduced this horrible creature. It basically alerts other zombies to your presence by screaming. and then it scream hurts you. It slows you down, stops you. So it's important to deal with them quickly. Because I don't remember when it is, but Benji, apostleboy, he actually gets killed by one of them by the scream.
Oh, like a banshee type thing.
Yeah, something like that. So you hear it's a hallway full of the dead, and he's down there screaming, so he kind of distracts us. Dude, the crawlers are really kind of annoying, especially the fast crawlers.
Oh, that reminds me of something similar, like in what was it, Silent Hill, which I believe a new one is coming out too.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was coming out. I didn't even know they were making the one. It was behind the times. I saw that someplace, and they did a trailer for it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even that far off.
No. I got stuck on one of them. It was frustrating.
Oh, the game?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Those games could be fun, but also frustrating simultaneously.
Yes. The movie wasn't too bad, but that ending.
I'll see here. I failed Benji, apostleboy, so I decided to take a different approach the second time. Instead of trying to push the thing off fast enough, I decided to stay up there and cover them until we deal with the zombies, and then go back and push that thing off out the way. Because when you push and when you're by yourself, you're much slower.
Mm-hmm.
So this time around, pardon me, and it took me a minute right there. I kept walking over to the shotgun shells like an idiot, wondering why I couldn't pick me up. Didn't have any room in my inventory.
Ah. I'm assuming later in the game you'll find a bigger.
Nope.
No, really?
Yeah, that was one of the things I liked about 4. You were able to increase the size of your case.
Yeah.
No. There's the screamer again. This checkpoint is kind of annoying. It's like really far back. I'll deal with the stupid screamer again.
The graphics again is still so like wow.
Yeah, graphics good. I was looking at somebody's review. Apparently, a lot of people don't like it. I don't know if it's just because of some of the changes that I've mentioned. But I enjoy it.
Well, it's dark, and I mean, if you think about it, for zombies or Walking Dead or whatever you want to call them, it's not going to be exactly, sun shining always outside. And
right, well, I don't think they were disappointed about
pretty
the darkness.
flowers and
somebody was saying it was shaky. I didn't find it to be shaky. The controls are good. I like you can control. You can aim and walk is a big improvement.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the biggest missing thing is the purchase system. I mean, yeah, it didn't quite make sense to be able to buy guns from a mysterious stranger who appeared wherever you were. Or just being able to buy and modify guns at the beginning of each turn. Yes, that doesn't quite make sense, but it was still fun. And in the end, it's not what games are about. It's about fun. Because, are you really fighting a zombie horde? No. You're pretending. So I'm going to pretend that. Why can't I pretend that there's a magical way for me to get guns in the middle of nowhere? I mean, even in there's a part in this where you end up in a gun shop, and all that's separating you from you and guns of your choice is a thin glass partition. I mean, really, that's going to stop me? No. Well, the game has its drawbacks, setbacks, choices that they tried to make in the developing of the game.
Well, I like the creative way, like even others where you had to work together to try and trick the monster, like to get him in the room and, so on and so forth. I was in the last one was in number 4. 4?
No, I was in 5.
It was 5? Okay.
And you had to get him in like the blast furnace room.
Yes.
And that was the best way to deal with him. I mean, They had little like flame canisters around the room that could slow them down. But the best way was to get them in there. I mean, excuse me. And that took me a minute to figure out. Excuse me.
Food is good.
Oh, yeah. The hiccups.
Because the food was so delicious.
Amen. So this is what I'm talking about. I decided to help him first. Grab the zombie so that while I'm pushing that thing, I don't have to worry about him fending for his life. And one of those little separation moves. The separation moves always one of the drawbacks to co-op because you get used to having your partner there, having your back.
Being together, yeah.
But then you get separated by distance, wall, whatever. I think one of the worst ones was when Resident Evil 4, and then you had to play. I think it was as Ashley.
Oh, and you had to go and do your own little thing and then come back.
And I mean, you're Ashley. You're defenseless. You have nothing. I mean, the best you could do was to pick up a lantern and throw it on the ground to try to set a zombie on fire. Yeah. That was her move.
You just really had to kind of avoid and duck and
duck under it. But at least in that, the zombies were slow. It's not these, fast-moving super crawlers. And actually, again, I don't think before they were actually zombies either. I forgot what they were. Was it Los Plagas? See, there's an emblem right there. And I think Benji was trying to knife it. I just shot it. One bullet. Done. And again, there are so many emblems in this one. It's ridiculous.
Oh, is there a trophy to get all the emblems?
They're real important. See where those guys are in the corner? Don't go over there. Help them out, and then move away. And you'll see why in a minute. If I had figured this out, we would have been done with this part a lot sooner.
I was saying, is there an emblem is there a trophy for
emblems? Yeah, definitely. I forgot it's 80-something emblems.
Wow.
Okay, you see, I just got knocked out. And that's okay, because I just got nicked by the ambulance that crashed in that corner. But we don't make it through, and I have to do this again. When we do it again, I decide to go stand in that corner, forgetting that the ambulance is one of those fixed portions of the game. It's going to happen again, it's going to crash again, and it's going to end up in that corner. So if I'm standing in that corner, it won't be good for me.
Never.
And they don't give you one of those little QTE moves, the little push button
moves.
Oh yeah,
that you can just roll out of the way or move.
Push X to dodge, or I think it was push square and X to dodge or something.
Right.
For the train and the subway. But you can't dodge this. You have to be out of the way. And you'll see what I mean in a second.
Dodge this.
So here we are, trying to help people again, which never works out well in Resident Evil.
Huh.
Yeah, stab, 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 punch, 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 kill, kill, kill. And here I am, standing in the corner fighting. Here comes the ambulance. And me just unaware and oblivious. Oh look, I'll shoot over here and I'll move back in the corner and what was that? That's me dying. Smush.
Crunch, crunch.
Face. I did learn from that though, and I don't go back in the corner.
Corner bad.
Yes. And we'll be fastest part of the second. But I think I was reading that if you play on the easiest difficulty, they actually do the QTE moves for you. So you don't have to do little button mashes and time the things.
Well, that would be good for somebody just kind of starting out, getting used to it, hearing about the game, wanting to play it, so you can get an idea or feel of it, and then go back on a different level to be able to, do it.
I mean, most of the QTEs aren't really that difficult. Like that one is just swirling the thumbstick around. That one's mashing X. The ones that are kind of tricky is when you have to hit it at the right time. And then there's this one thing. Is it with Leon or? No. Yeah, it's with Leon when we're on the roof fighting the boss. And you have to hit. the thing keeps spinning around, and there's multiple places where you have to hit it, and it's just a little frustrating. But yeah, shoot the gas, shoot the gas. There's the trophy. Pop.
Mandy was happy too.
Yeah. Now it's time to move inside. Move off the street. I gotta look around first.
Yeah, pick up a few goodies.
There's a whatchamacallit in the window.
Emblem. Yep. It's better than what was it, chicken egg?
Yeah. At least they were good for selling them. But there's no way to trade items in here, so it's pointless. Did find some chickens and killed them. Didn't leave anything behind them.
Been nice if that could have been like for food or something.
Yeah, but the only way to heal is either through time. If you get one of the skill sets you can choose, I think is health restoration, if I remember right. And the other is through the little herbs or sprays or whatever.
Right. Because what was that gauntlet where you eat?
Oh yeah, there's lots of games like that where you can eat food.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, we're doing something like a zombie thing or whatever, not just sit down exactly, fry some chicken or,
right.
Have some spaghetti. You just pushing for survival. Maybe get something from a busted vending machine and keep on moving.
And here's the gun shop I was talking about. Like, there's all this stuff behind the glass.
Ooh.
And you don't get any of it.
That would have been nice and helpful, but of course not. It would have been too easy.
And of course, the guy who's upstairs in the roof with the gun, in the upper room, doesn't want to let you in until you clean out most of the sword. So you got to take care of that first. Shoot for the eggs.
It'd been nice going into a pharmacy or something like that, or and getting stuff. But then again, that would be too easy too.
Right. Now, one thing that's interesting, I think it doesn't get unlocked till you beat at least one of the story sets, one of the story modes. Is you can play agent hunt, which means you join somebody else's game as a zombie, and you play as one of the zombies and try to hunt them down. And I tried it, and it actually was on this part a little bit later when we end up upstairs. And it's difficult to maneuver the zombie, and slow and clumsy. And each of the zombies has a very specific attack. There's one that has like a little, I don't know, grenade, or it's not a grenade, it's just like the dynamite you throw. Another one has the axe in his chest that you try to rip out and use.
Okay. That's an interesting perspective to play, from both sides. I think, what was it, my daughter, was it Alien?
Left 4 Dead? Oh, no.
I'm thinking
Aliens versus Predators.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get to play as all three, either the alien, the predator, or the marine.
That was pretty cool to try and play as the different ones too. Different moves, different perspective.
Right. And she did pretty well. She said one of them was frustrating. She had trouble trying to impregnate. Yeah. She's trying to impregnate somebody, which is really difficult. Oh yeah, this monster's gross. I hate those. And spitters. Spitters are always fun. Especially when you don't know where they are and they still keep managing to hit you no matter where you move.
She's like, ah!
The whole time, it's possible just being gnawed on by that thing.
That's when you need some type of, Bowie knife or something that chop, chop, chop.
Right, and she doesn't have any melee weapons that I noticed. I know, excuse me, I didn't play as Leon in this, but I know as Chris, when I play in the second part, he has his knife.
Mm-hmm.
And again, those big things that I just got, those are important. Those are big skill sets. Skill points to help you with your skill sets. And then once you beat one of these story modes, you can set up different skill set modes. And what I mean by that is that you can only have a maximum of 3 skills at a time. But what you can do is set up different sets of the skills, because you use the points to unlock the different skills.
Now he's telling you, come on up, come on up.
Because we reached enough zombie kills. So now we go upstairs. And it doesn't get any better up here. You get a brief respite, pick up a few items, get a little story, and then it's time for more fighting. But
handgun bullets.
Yeah, handgun bullets. There's a red herb. There's something in the drawer. But you can set up different skill sets. So like when you're playing as Leon and Helena, that's where I started right there, as that dude over there with the thing that you can throw. So if you don't shoot him fast enough, you can throw that over and it causes an explosion. But so you can set up one specifically like for zombies and melee weapons, and then you can set up one for Java and guns, whichever you're going to be using. And you can change it, but it's nice to have it preset so that when you're in a particular fight or doing something in a particular area, you can already have it set.
Oh, there they are again.
Yeah, multiple ones this time. It's like all over the place. And we died.
Let's try that again.
Yeah, let's try it a couple more times. Yeah, there's times when me and apostleboy were rolling, we were doing good and making it through sections, and there's times where it's like die, fail.
But then you learn, and then when they do
go ads
on some different things, but
don't always learn. I think it's the final boss that we fought. That was just tedious because I made one of the biggest faux pas in Resident Evil gaming is looking for the weak spot. Every enemy in Resident Evil has a weak spot, especially the bosses.
Oh yeah.
And the bigger ones with legs, it's usually on the legs. And I don't know what I was thinking, but the last boss is a weak spot because he keeps covering his face. He's like this giant fly creature, and he keeps covering his face. So you think, oh, the weak spot is the head. The final weak spot is the head, but to get to the head, you have to shoot off his legs first. Because what happens is, whenever we get there, you'll see he repairs himself by absorbing other zombies. And so there's a lightning rod on the roof, and he grabs it, and he grabs the zombie that's been impaled on him, and so the lightning rod ends up in him. So when lightning strikes it, it hurts him. So we get the idea, and we hurt him in the head, and he picks up a zombie and tries to absorb it into his head, but the zombie's been impaled with the lightning rod, so the lightning strikes him in the head.
Which is bad for business.
Bad for his business, good for us. Yeah, and there's 2 different ways to scroll through your stuff. There's the left to right, which is your weapons, and then up and down, which is your secondary items. Grenades, C4, health spray.
What about the save data? We're not doing ribbons and all that other stuff, just automatic saves.
Yeah, it just pretty much saves everything automatic. You don't really have to worry about it, which is nice.
Yeah, instead of ribbons and going to that save one.
Oh yeah, that
was lovely.
I think the last one to do that crap was 4.
Yeah, and then you had to make sure you had enough of them.
Right. Excuse me.
Or go back to your inventory to get one to come all the way back.
Here's one of the big boys.
He looks lovely. Wow.
I'm just trying to avoid him at this point. Let me go out in the other room and aim back into the doorway.
Yes, pop, over there.
Because there's no way he should have been able to fit through this doorway.
He looks like the dude that was in movie 7 that was at the table in the bowl.
Oh, that ate himself to death?
Yeah.
Or got forced to eat himself to death. Fed to death.
Which is surprising ending movie for that too. That was good.
And like I said, starting with the next gameplay video of Resident Evil, the voice acting and the action will be at normal speed. So we will be commentating around that instead of just commentating over it. I mean, right now, if you're interested in what they're saying, you can still read the, excuse me, read the subtitles. But starting in part 4, when they're speaking or there's an action going on that you might want to hear, then I will shut up and let you hear it. But right now, that's why I have that muted in case you didn't hear that. I didn't know. The big boys are determined.
Might be nice if they could do something to, not them, but the people just looking over the balcony.
Well, they're supposedly helping a little bit, but how much they actually help in terms of killage, right. I don't know.
Throw some sticks or something.
Right. I mean, sometimes in games when you have AI partners or built-in, partners in the game, you wonder how much do they actually help.
I know in Infamous, it seemed like it worked well.
Infamous? What part of it?
Remember when the two were working together?
No.
Like for example, they were working together. Like the one with the lady was, she sounded like she was.
Oh yeah,
and they worked together against it. Looked like they both did considerable amount of damage.
Right. Well, that was a particular part, and I mean, but still, what's his name? Cole had to do like the finishing moves and stuff. Which,
but still, it helped. That you know.
Well, yeah, and that was fun because she would set up I can't remember her name, but she was the Cajun.
Yeah.
The black Cajun lady. She would set up bad guys for you, and she'd call out your name and you were supposed to shoot them. Quo was the good girl's name, supposedly good girl's name. The Asian lady, who was supposed to have been helping you. But, that's interesting. I liked it a lot more than I thought it would because I started playing it at first. Infamous 1.
This is Maximum Overdrive you did with the car.
Oh, with the bus? Yeah. This is just about it. Look through some of the things.
Trophy?
Yeah. We finished that part. End of chapter 1. Long chapter. But, and the rest of the video is really just looking at some of the stats and some of the things. You see my rank is a C. So I'm doing very well.
Have to fix that.
But now you can purchase new skills. And again, if you look at the skills, you can see the skill points. I only have 11,800. So then I can buy. There's other ones that haven't unlocked yet. They unlock for different regions when you do different things. But you can buy different ones and then assign them there. Now what happens is after you beat the game, instead of just being that one little pentagon, you have 8 of those. And you can set up 8 different sets of skills. And a lot of the skills have different levels. There's another trophy for the first skill that I bought. But see, that one says recovery level 1. Because there's actually 3 levels to recovery. But they get excessively more expensive. So, you start with level 1, it's kind of affordable. But then level 2 is like 3 times as much. Like, see, Zombie Hunter jumped up to, I think it was 3,000, then it jumped up to 25,000.
Wow.
So it's a bit of expensive.
A little bit.
But anyway, it's not a bad idea. I'm enjoying it. Thanks for watching. Jesus bless you. And good.
Resident Evil 6.